This video is about simultaneous equations, so just going to go through a couple of different questions and have a go at them yourself, pause the video, and then check out the answers. Okay, so a few things when calculating simultaneous equations. In this sense, we are eliminating them. If you go on to further, you might be substituting them later on, but just to GCSE, you're just eliminating. Layout is really important. I tend to label everything, write everything down as clear as possible because you're going to be using that to check your answer, especially when you're looking back on the question later on. Also, it helps the examiner just for it to be laid out nice and simply, so it's there for them as well to see where you've gone and where you're getting the marks. Okay, it's important that your X and Y are having the same coefficient, because if they don't have the same coefficient, one of them's not gonna cancel out. So it's either X or Y, depending on which way you do, and just make sure they have the same coefficient before you move on. And the other thing I would say is that you might have to do a bit of rearranging with this topic. It's one of the things that they tend to put in, but it's more of a higher skill if they are rearranging in that as well. So just be aware. So this is the first question, nice and easy to start off with. Okay, so again, pause it if you want to have a quick go, and then we're going to go through it. So I just write them out again, just because it's easier for me to see what I'm doing, and if I make any mistakes, then I've got a little idea of what's happened and I'm not writing over my question. So the first thing I do is label them. And all I'm going to do is write down what I'm going to times it by. I use the y's, it's up to you what you want to use, but I'm going to times this one by 3 and this one by 5. So you're making sure that they have the same coefficient. Easiest way to do that is times them by the current coefficients, but it doesn't matter. If you didn't want to do that, you find the lowest common multiple. Every single term has to be times by 5. So that gives me 10x plus 15y equals 50. And then the same on the bottom, so this one's all being times by 3. So 9x plus 15y equals 17 times 3 is 51. There you go. Yeah. Okay, so because I want to get rid of the 15y's, I'm going to take them away from each other. So they cancel out essentially. 10x take away 9x leaves me with x. And 50 take away 51 gives me -1. So that is my x value. Now I tell the examiner x equals -1 into equation, and it's up to you which one you choose. For this one, I'm going to choose equation 1. So we're doing 2 brackets -1 plus 3y equals 10. And again, making sure that you're laying it out so the examiner can see that you are subbing in, because you actually get a mark as soon as you've subbed in. So -2 plus 3y equals 10. Well, that means that 3y here has to be equal to 12, because we're going to add -2 onto both. Well, add 2 onto both to cancel out the -2. So y has to be 4. Now, at this point, if you have extra time in your exam, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. What I would do is then just sub back these numbers in. So I'd use the second equation. I'd do 3 brackets -1 plus 5. And put your 4 in. And then just check, does it equal 17? You have a calculator. So if it doesn't work, but we can tell that straight away, that would be fine. And then we can know then that we're getting those 4 marks before we even move on. Okay, so this question by here, as you can see, that it's not in a nice format, but it's not for us to worry about. The first thing is I would rearrange this. So that second equation, I'd say it's 4x minus 2y equals 7. And I've just moved them right round. It's up to you which way you want to do it. I just don't like my in front of my x being negative, but again, it's personal choice. Once you've done that, write down your first bits. So that's equation 1. And 4x minus 2y equals 7. That's equation 2. And again, times in all this one, I only have to times equation 2 by 2 because I've already got 4 there and I know that 2 goes into 4. So what I'm simply going to do is times that second one by 2. So that gives me 8x minus 4y equals 14. And then write the other one underneath. So 2x plus 4y equals minus 9. Now this time we got a negative and a plus. So to get rid of them, I have to add them together. Because if I'm at minus 4 and I add 4y, well, they're going to cancel out. So they're going to come 0. So I'm adding these and I'm adding these. So that gives me 10x is equal to 14 plus minus 9, which is 5. So x here is a half, because remember we're dividing it by 5, divided by 10, so 5 over 10 is the same as a half. Now substitute back in, so 2 and then a half plus 4y equals minus 9. So that means 1 plus 4y equals minus 9. So 4y must be equal to, well, we take the 1 away, so that gives us minus 10. So y is either minus 2.5, or some of you might have done minus 5 over 2. And there you go. If you did want to check then and you've got time, just sub it back in. So 2 brackets minus 5 over 2 is equal to 4/2 minus 7. Well, that gives me 2 minus 7 is minus 5, and they cancel out to minus 5. So I can say yes. And I know they've got the full marks for that one. Okay, so this question right here is quite a difficult one. So it says 1 week he drives route x 3 times and route y twice. So straight away, when you see something like this, write it in as a simultaneous equation. Next one, he drives x twice, so 2x plus 5y, and that gives you 203. And again, we're going to do the same thing. So that's equation 1, and that's equation 2. So the first one, I've run out of space by here. I shouldn't have written it so close. We're going to times it by 5, and then the second one, we're timesing it by 2. So we've got 15x plus 10y, and we're doing 134. I'm going to be lazy. Times by 5, which gives us 670. And then the same on the next one. So we've got 4x plus 10y, and that gives us 403. I'm sorry, 406. Once we've done those, we can now cancel it out because it's obviously 2 pluses. We're going to be taking them away. So 15 take away 4 gives us 11x. And 670 take away your 406 gives you 264. Which means x is going to be 24. Again, using dividing. You have a calculator, so you might as well use it. Once you've done this bit, go to one of the originals. It doesn't matter which one you go to. I might go to the second one just because I don't know. I feel like the second one. So we're doing 2 times 24 plus 5y gives us 203. So we know 48 plus 5y gives us, oh God, what is going on there? Let's rub that out. Gives us 203. And we're doing 203, take away that 48, which gives you 155. Mean y is going to be 31. So we can write those straight in. So x is 24 and y is 31. Again, if you want to use the method to check, use the other ones to do that. Okay, so state an assumption that has been made about answering part A. There's two roots, root x and root y. My assumption would be that the root doesn't change. Doesn't change, or he's taking exactly the same roads, because even though he's taking a different direction, like route X and route Y, just making sure that he hasn't gone off it for like there wasn't any roadworks or anything like that. Something along those lines, just to know that he has gone exactly the same route. Okay, last question. So the dimensions in centimeters of a rectangle shown with algebraic expressions. Work out the length and width of this rectangle. This question looks quite mean, but it really isn't. Okay, so you've got a rectangle here, and with a rectangle, oh wait, first pause it if you need to. But the rectangle has two sides here, they equal the same. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is find out what that is. So I'm going to write y minus 4 is equal to 2x minus 6y minus 3. And we're just going to solve those. So moving the the minus 4 over, that gives me 1. And I'm moving those over here. So x and move that over there. So that gives me 7y. And check that over the other side. Gives me 1. So that's that one done. All I've done is rearrange that quite quickly. So hopefully you get where I've gone there. And then the other one is 5x minus y minus 8 is equal to 3x plus 5y plus 4. That's going to really annoy me. So here we go. So chuck the 3 over, it gives me 2x. Chuck the 5 over is minus 6y. Chuck that over to the other side is 12. Okay, so those are my two statements now. And we know x and y has to stay the same during all of these. So this is where we can work them out. So where would I go with this? So on this one, I'm tempted to actually multiply everything in the first equation by 2, just because I think that'll be easier to cancel out. Do I want to do that? Yeah, let's go for it. So that's going to give me 2x plus 14y equals 2. And then the other one I've got is 2x minus 6y equals 12. Now, because they're both positive by here, to cancel them out, I have to take them away. So they cancel out. And I'm taken away by here as well. So we've got 14 minus minus. Minus and minus makes a plus. So that gives me 20y is equal to 2 minus 12, which gives me minus 10. So y is equal to minus a half. That wasn't too bad. Okay, so that's the first bit done. We now need to work out x. So we're going to sub it in. So we've got x. Which one's the best one to do for this one? Probably still that first one. No, I'm going to go for the second one just because I've got minus 6 and I know if I'm working with a half, it's a lot nicer to work with basically even numbers. So I've got 2x minus 6, and that's minus a half equals 12. So here we got minus the minus gives us a plus, and half of 6 is 3. So 2x plus 3 equals 12, which means that, well, that has to be 9 left over, so that should be 4.5. Okay, and obviously you might have done all the workings there. I've just tried to simplify it down. Now we can put it in anyone, so I'm going to choose, let's go for this one by here first. So we've got the length and the width. It doesn't matter which way around they go as long as you've got them, because technically a rectangle can be any way. I tend to use this one as the width though. But so let's do the length first. So we've got 3x, so 3 times 4.5, and I'm just going to do this in my calculator just to make sure I don't make any errors, mainly because it's quite late now. And I've still got baby brain. Minus a half, minus 4. So if I minus half, it gives me 13, and if I minus 4, it gives me 9. So I'm going to say it's 9, and you can double check on the other side. So if I checked on the other side, it would be like 9. And then we got minus a half times 6, which gives me minus, plus 3, minus 3, which also gives me 9. So that makes me happy there. So I know both those. Done. Now I'm going to check on the next one. So 4.5 times 3, well, that gives me 13.5. We've already worked that out. And half of 5, so that's minus 2.5. And then plus 4. There is a dot there, even though it's really annoying. So 13.5 take away 2.5, that's going to give me 11. 11 plus 4 is 15. And again, I can check it at the top. So 5 times 4.5, again, I'm going to just quickly check that in my calculator. Of course it does that. So that's 22.5, take away minus a half, of course, which gives you plus. So that gives me 23. 23 minus 8 also gives me 15. And there you go. So that is all of those. I hope that's helpful. This was quite a tricky question, a 6-mark question. So if you do see something like that now, you have an idea what to do. And yeah, all done. Good luck.